But I haven't been managing myself properly. You learn something new every day. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I'd gone to this hospital today, he's just going to come. I know he's, yeah. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Yeah, you can go. Jesus. They wouldn't let you pull out to save their lives. I swear to God. Hi guys, welcome back. This is Alpha Omega Occasionally. And on this occasion, I've got to look after my health. And a lot of fellas, and thank you very much indeed, lads, for pulling me up on the fact that I drink too much. This health issue is not about alcohol. It's about the sun. I'm going to show you something. It's probably not easy to see. You have to look very closely. But that's a mole. And I've had it all my life. But I woke up yesterday morning and it looked as if I'd scratched it. There was a line of blood, a slight thin hairline line of blood emanating from it. It wasn't bleeding, but it had bled, let's say. I didn't think too much of it. I don't know if it was a bite close to it or a bite on it, an insect bite on it, but I know enough about moles to know that if it changes shape or if it gets itchy or bleeds or anything unusual happens to it or it appears in an unusual way, that you should get it looked at. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not being nonchalant about it. I'm being responsible about it. So join me in our journey to Luang Prabang, the hospital. That's Thai for hospital. And we'll see what the crack is. Let's get going. Well guys, just before we set off, I just want to draw your attention. I welcome each and every one of you, and even the ignorant. I mean, there are some ignorant people that comment on my videos. This guy either has spent his whole life on a different planet or he's never gone to school. I mean, he said you could, what was it? Look, there it is. There's the comment there on the screen. Do up your shirt. You wouldn't do that if you're back in the UK. Why? Why would I go to the UK? I'm not from the UK. I'm from the Republic of Ireland. Jeepers creepers, where have you been all your life? Go back to school. The Republic of Ireland is not part of the United Kingdom. Australia, Canada, New Zealand and a few more places are part of the British Commonwealth. Ireland is not. The head of state of Australia, Canada, New Zealand and a few other places is the monarch of England. It's not the head of state of Ireland. We have a president. I just had to get that out of the way. Anyway, the reason I'm saying that is to go to the hospital, you need your passport. There you go. That doesn't look like a British passport to you, does it? Whoever you are. Anyway, but you're very welcome wherever you are. So we're going to set off. It was raining so much last night. This is the 3rd of November. The rainy season has not ended. It was as much rain as I've seen ever since I came to Thailand. In actual fact, in the bathroom, as you see in the picture here, the shore, the lid or the grill or whatever was lifted off the shore in the bathroom, and the water came up like a fountain. And the smell of it was unbelievable. And we were up till 1 o'clock this morning, myself and herself, trying to manage that situation until it eventually subsided. Anyway, this isn't going to subside on its own. Well, maybe it will. I don't know. But better safe than sorry. Anyway, let's go. I better put on my seatbelt. So here we go on a wet, dreary 3rd of November in Bangkok. Pulling out as usual. Hang on. And you're all very welcome, lads. You really are. So this is a thing. Coming to Thailand without health insurance. This is one of those times when I wish I had it. I have had health insurance, but for some reason, I thought she renewed it. I asked her last night, did she? And she said no, and I'd let it lapse. There's a million and one things you got to think about living here. And your health is your wealth. It's number one. It's numero uno. But there's other things as well that you might want to think about. Well, for me, I need to get this jalopy serviced once every 6 months. I need to get new glasses. These are scratched. I might need to get a new phone. It's 3 years old. But you never know. You know, these are things you need to renew. And when a health issue comes into the equation, it just knocks everything else on the head. Or it may do. This, in my opinion, in a private hospital, I'm not going to name the hospital because you're not supposed to name establishments and businesses in Thailand, good, bad or indifferent. So all I'd say, it is a fantastic hospital, really is state of the art, and I'm reckoning it's going to cost about 5,000 baht. That's the average you'll spend going in for any kind of consultation. It's about, well, depending if you get medication, you can add on to that again. Obviously, you've got pharmacies there. 1 second. So that's what you got to look out for, the things that come from left of field. You know, you're plodding away in life. I'm plodding away saying, okay, I've got a few extra bob. What will I do? I'll get my glasses repaired. Some people actually say, why do I wear old women glasses? Well, actually, these are the fashion in Thailand. And for me, I get a while... Here's the police. What are they doing? Oh, there's a tree surgeon doing tree surgeon things here, I think. And they're chopping down a tree. And the traffic police are cordoning off the laneway. Anyway, so there are things you need to consider, and you see, I've often said it, and I'll continue to say it. Everything's okay until it isn't. So I could just as well. This has gone down. The actual mole, it's not as red as it was. It's gone back to what it used to look, what it normally looked like for the past 61 years. Well, I don't know what it looked like for the first 10 years of my life because I can't remember. But anyway, it looks reasonably okay. But by virtue of the fact that it did bleed and it did change shape and colour, I'm going to go and get it checked out. And one of the things that I'm happy about, over the past years living in Thailand, I was going out gallivanting and I'd spend 4,000 baht in a night. You know, you'd easily do it. Go to Sukhumvit and blah, blah, blah and all the rest of it. This is going to cost me 5 grand. And because I'm not doing that kind of gallivanting anymore, I have the money. I have the money set aside to cope with, let's say, minor emergencies like that. But we'll have to wait and see. You might criticise me. Well, you're quite entitled to. Why didn't I check to make sure I have health insurance? Because it's an absolute must. I let it lapse. I shouldn't have, and I'm going to get it sorted. Because I'm lucky at 61 years old, 61 next week, at 61 years old, I have had no real health issues other than good health. I woke up, there was an incident 10 years ago, more than 10 years, before I came here, so it's about 14 years ago. I woke up one morning and the alarm went off and it was on the other side of the room, and I got up to turn it off and it was like I was walking on a waterbed. I got vertigo, and it was one of the scariest things. I didn't know what it was, of course, and my head was like a gyroscope. It was just all over the place. I couldn't walk. I couldn't support myself, and I was crawling around the bedroom. And over the course of that day, I went to the doctor. I eventually got I got a bus. I got a bus into work. I was actually working in sales at the time. I got a bus into work, and getting off the bus, it was like getting off a waterbed floating on water during an Atlantic storm. You were just all over the place. And the doctor said to me, this is vertigo, it's a vertigo attack, blah, blah. It will get better, but you'll have to learn to manage it. And that's what I've done over the past 14 years since then. I still have a touch of it. I can't look directly up. If there's an airplane flying overhead, I can only go to a certain angle. When I'm lying down, I need 2 pillows or a very thick pillow. I cannot lie flat on the bed, otherwise everything starts spinning. So I managed that situation. I've got my lower back, like all our, we all go through this. You manage the situation. So this thing, I'm going to manage the situation. And I was looking forward to spending that 5,000 baht on something else, anything else really. But you know yourself, I'm glad that I have the opportunity to go here today. And one thing about Thailand is the standard of healthcare in the private sector. I can't say anything about the public sector because I can't avail of that. But in the private sector, it's absolutely second to none. Second to none. It's absolutely top notch. Coupled with the Thai culture of politeness and pleasantry and respect, it really is a wonderful feeling. And going in here today, one of the things that I am looking forward to is being pampered only the way Thais can do. They really look after you. They really, really do. And that's one of the reasons I absolutely love. I'm reminding myself, that's one of the reasons I love living here. Okay, they've got absolutely no manners on the road. I mean, it's obvious. But apart from that, you let them off. So it's 9:30. I try to leave it as late in the morning as possible before I set off to do this because of the rush hour traffic. So when we get in here, I won't be bringing the camera in because there's signs all over the hospital, no record. I'll have to send them an email to teach them proper English. It's no recording, because you could pronounce record, no record of what. But anyway, you're not allowed to record in there, so I'm not bringing the camera in. But we'll park in the car park. I'll go in, get it done, and we will reconvene when I get out. Hopefully it'll be all okay. These are the times when I wish that the video, that my actual life, the real time would take the same course as video time. Like, in other words, by the time I park this car and go in and get tested and all that, 2 or 3 hours will have passed. But in terms of the video, it'll be a couple of seconds. So at the end, I'll just tell you where we're going. We're going to we're going to Paramgao Hospital, and it's one of the best hospitals, if not the best hospital I've ever had the pleasure of attending. And I've lived in Dubai, I lived in the Middle East, and I've got good hospitals over there. But this, because of the Thai culture coupled with the standard of service, it really, really is top notch. This is the hospital Harry was born in. And I spent 3 nights in you're allowed. I had brought my laptop with me. I was working. She was there. Obviously, she was there. She was giving birth. She was there. But we stayed as a family. There was a microwave in the room, electric kettle. It was like a hotel room. Now you pay for it. But it's not as expensive as Western private medicine. But it's still expensive. I let these cross. I'm at a pedestrian crossing here. God, she's beautiful. My God. That is one of the things about this country, lads, is, you know, there are beautiful women everywhere. So I just want, at this stage, to thank... It's getting a bit dark, is it? It is, because I'm underneath the flyover. This is the elevated motorway down to Chonburi, down to Pattaya. So if you're wondering, we're on Paramgao. This is where it is. This is the road we're on, and we'll be making a right hammer down here. So it's dark because we're underneath the elevated motorway. Get a right hammer here. The lights are with me now. Of course, just as I approach them, they go amber and it's red. If you're wondering why the seatbelt is off, I'm in the car park of the hospital now, so we're just pulling in. I'm a little bit apprehensive. Of course I am. But in the grand scheme of things, before I noticed this, I was worried about my visa. Now I'm worried about this. This takes priority. Capon, thank you. Perfect, thank you. And she speaks English. There you go. Up I go. Better start concentrating on what I'm doing. Sorry about the lighting. Just parked. So as I said, I can't bring the cameras in. So I'll see you when I get out. Remember, I'm doing this as a precaution. So better safe than sorry, huh? Well, as you can see, I'm out. And I'm pleased to say it's nothing serious. I don't know what she called it, but she said it wasn't a mole. And I was convinced all my life that has looked like a mole. To me, that was a mole. It's always been there. And she named something. She treated it with liquid nitrogen, actually. And she gave me a topical ointment to use. She said one thing. There's more than one takeaway from this. Let me just reverse in here, and I'll tell you what she said. Managed to park there safely. There's a couple of takeaways from this video, or from my experience here today. Number one, and the most important thing is, you never take anything for granted. And some people might say I was overreacting. I'll show it to you when I get out of the car. I'll get out of the car and I'll show you this thing in better light. But as far as I was concerned, that was a mole. And it was bleeding yesterday morning when I woke up. It was. And when I checked online, and the internet is the worst place to get a diagnosis, I know that. But I just said to myself, it's better safe than sorry. And if you're wondering how much it cost me, 3,011 baht. That's the guts of $100. And it shouldn't cost that, because I should have medical insurance, and that's another thing I'm going to get myself sorted out with. I let it lapse, and I'm not going to let it lapse. I'll rectify that situation. It shouldn't cost $100 to get something like that checked out. You should have yourself covered for unlikely situations like that. But the other thing was my high blood pressure. That was the other thing. When they weighed me and took my blood pressure was sky high. And for me, and I know this, there's one quick way of sorting this out without taking medication, and that's fasting, intermittent fasting. I've done it before on one meal a day, cut out carbs and just on protein. It's absolute murder for the first couple of days, but you get into the swing. But I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I am going to do it 1 or 2 days a week. Look, let me get out of the car and I'll talk to you more about this, because there's a wonderful market here at the back of the hospital. If you're ever in this neck of the woods and you fancy a bite to eat, here's me talking about intermittent fasting, and I'm talking about having a bite to eat. I'm not necessarily going to do it, but I'm just going to get out of the car and show you, because it's more boring than sitting in the car talking. Give me a minute. So as I said, there's a bit of a market going on here behind me. It actually goes, I've never been here before. This is right at the back of Paramgao Hospital. And this is where the nurses and doctors and staff come to get their grub. We might go in and just take a closer look, just if you're interested. I would just say this much about blood pressure. I would say, in my opinion, one of the worst types of food you could have for blood pressure is Thai food. It's loaded with salt and it's loaded with sugar. I've said that before. And if you manage yourself, maybe you can get away with eating that kind of stuff, or having that much salt or sugar in your diet. But I haven't been managing myself properly. Let's go in and have a closer look at this, just to give you a heads up on it. I was going to go in all the way, but they're playing music, and again, you see, if the sugar doesn't get you, the music will on YouTube, that's for sure, because of copyright and all the rest of it. Sorry, you can talk to crap. I find myself in the way, as I usually am when I'm making these videos, because the tripod's got a 1 meter, not diameter, but you know, from pod to pod, it's 1 meter, so it causes a bit of disruption. This is a place I've never seen before, and it has everything you could imagine, and it's all very popular. And I wish to God, well, maybe I will. I'll have I can't leave the tripod here because people are walking around it. Hang on a second. Make a bit of space there. Hang on. Yeah, there's an awful lot of stuff. You wouldn't want to be claustrophobic, that's for sure. Oops-a-daisy. Yeah, I just realised my phone isn't charged, and that's how I pay. I scan, so I'm not in the position to buy at the moment. But yeah, there's a shock for you. There's a wake-up call. My blood pressure is sky high, and I didn't. You know, you hear about things where guys go in to get checked up for something, and they find out there's something else. Well, that's the something else. So I have to get that sorted. But if you want to see the thing that I came in about in the first place, I showed you earlier on. That's it there. If you can see that, that was enough to worry me, and I'm glad I got it sorted. Look, I'm going to drive home, and I will take it up from there. Anyway, this place is absolutely buzzing with office staff. It's the CBD, the Central Business District of Rashida, and it's full of office girls. God damn. As I said before, lads, I'm a red-blooded male, you know. But I just want to say that I want to thank everybody who's helped me out on Buy Me a Coffee. You'll see your names coming up there. I don't have access to the website because my phone has died here, so I can't name you verbally, but digitally or textually, there you are there. And thank you so much, each and every one of you, for helping me out. It's because of your generosity and because of your support that I can bring you these videos. As you probably noticed today, we're using a dual camera setup. I've had 2 cameras for a long time, but I didn't have the equipment to mount the cameras in the car, and it's only because of your generosity that I've had the ability to do that. So thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, now if you want to help support the channel, you just scan the QR code there. We're losing the light. This is a thing about using cameras instead of GoPros. The GoPros are automatic, the cameras aren't. The ISO. This is the Chonburi elevated highway above me, which blocks out a lot of the light down below. But if you haven't done so already, you can scan that QR to buy me a coffee. Because as I said before, I really appreciate all your help. So I'm going to drive home, and I'm going to drive home rest assured in the knowledge that, again, for today at least, all is okay. It could have been a lot worse. Jesus Christ. I was talking to a friend of mine there in Australia just now, and I was telling him what I was doing. And he said there was a girl there, a young girl, who had a melanoma on her forehead, and she ended up getting half the skin on her face taken off because it spread under the skin. It's not something, I swear to God, I just want to thank the lads who've told me about melanoma and wearing the cap. It's something you just don't think about. Well, I haven't thought about after 13 years, and I'm always going around with my arm out the window driving the car, you know, the usual. And that's the arm that had, well, I thought had the problem. So I consider myself extreme. Oh, God almighty, motorcycles, and fellas blocking the lane. Just block the bloody lane, why don't you? Hang on, you can see him there, he's blocked the lane, the guy in the red Havel. Anyway, am I going the right way? I'm going the wrong way. I'm going the right way. There we go. Sometimes I find the junctions in Bangkok extremely confusing because there's very limited signage, and if around this neck of the woods, if you get signage at all, it's all in Thai. So I'm on the home stretch now, and I tell you this, I am going to start will I go keto? I don't know which is better, keto or one meal. I think 1 meal a day is better, and then you don't have to go keto. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start, and I'm going to start tomorrow, and I'm not procrastinating, because as I said, it's easier to fast once a day from when you wake up in the morning, because you've been fasting all night, you see. And that's what the word breakfast means, break fast. So you just leave the break fast till as late as possible. And I'm going to start taking exercise. I've cut down on the drinking already. And you know, You don't have to live like a monk, but if you want to live, you've got to. It's a trade-off. It really is a trade-off, especially at this stage in my life. My goodness gracious me, I feel so lucky that it's like a wake-up call about melanoma. It's a wake-up call about my blood pressure. And I shouldn't need it. I shouldn't need it at this stage of my life, because I wouldn't say I've been living recklessly, but drinking gin. When I discovered gin late in life. So drinking gin 3 or 4 times a week, it's a non-runner. I'm going to limit it to twice a week, Fridays and Saturdays, and the beer the same way. And that way I'll enjoy it all the better, because it'll be a novelty, and my blood pressure will reduce. That's the thing. That's the thing, to reduce my blood pressure. God damn. So there you go, lads. If you want to be fit and healthy, we don't have to be fit and healthy. You can be healthy, but if you want to enjoy your life in Thailand without the hassle, and that's putting it mildly, of ill health, you got to start taking stock. And I've started taking stock today, and I thank you all again for your support. So remember, lads, if you haven't done so already, it'd be a great idea and a nice thing to do to click that like button, because it does help promote the video, the share button, the subscribe button. Do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.